think that one of the most well-worn expressions or questions of lament that I hear in the Australian schools that I get around to is the question of, why do we have to make everything so complicated? It just feels that everything we need to do in schools becomes increasingly complicated. We add layers of complication to simple processes. We add programs. We take on more. We promise more. We deliver more. It's always more, and it's making our schools incredibly complicated. What I would like to suggest to you in this video today is that when we respond to complication with further complication, with more complicated ways of dealing with it, we make the problem worse. And we seize up our organisations so that they're unresponsive. Let me take you from a really broad concept to a specific around that. If we were to think more broadly, instead of being complicated, could we be more complex? Now, complex systems are systems like roundabouts when we're driving. A roundabout is a complex system in that whatever comes along to it, however much traffic comes from whatever direction, the roundabout responds. There's only a couple of simple rules you need to know, which is basically give way to the right and anyone else on the roundabout. And whether there's 50 cars coming from one direction and one car from another, we find our way through that very complex system because it's nimble, it's agile, it's responsive, it's an adaptive way. It's a simple way of dealing with something that can become quite complicated. Yet traffic lights are complicated. Further complication to deal with something that's already complicated. Traffic lights seek to control, seek to ensure that we reach a predetermined outcome, that seek for fairness that doesn't really manifest as fair. If 50 cars are coming from one direction towards a traffic light and one car comes from another, that one car holds up those 50 cars because it's their turn. We have to control that system to make that system work. Now, my contention to you is that we need to do less controlling in schools and more bringing in complex systems that are just capable of dealing with everything. Here's the example I want to give you. When it comes to your yard duty, even in the way that we set up yard duty in schools, we often write policy or we write procedure for the way that yard duty needs to run, or we tack it on as an appendix to, for instance, our behaviour and wellbeing policies and strategic plans. No one reads it. No one knows. Why? Because it's complicated. There are lots of moving parts to it. There are lots of pieces in there that I need to know, and I'm not capable of being able to absorb them in a practical way. Nearly every procedure that I read when it comes to yard duty has a statement in there that says all teachers are expected to show up on time to yard duty. Another school that I work with said, let's get complex about it. Let's put some simple things in place. And they put 6 things in place. One of them was, just to phrase this differently, instead of all teachers are expected to be at yard duty on time, they just had a simple phrase in there, which was the commitment that nobody rocks up late to the party. That's a statement that's well known to teachers because it stands out for its informality, not for its formality. It stands out because there's a lot of things that could come under that. But if we get really specific and try to control the situation, then people don't engage with it. They had another little procedure in place for the last minute of lunchtime, and they had another one that said we approach perpetrators on lunchtime with curiosity rather than judgment. Instead of coming down to 17 different things that teachers need to do if they encounter poor behaviour in the yard, it's just approach our perpetrators with curiosity and ask them what's going on, see if we can engage them. I really like the notion of being more complex in the way that we work. More simple, more adaptive, more responsive, more flexible, rather than trying to control all the time. The control takes a huge amount of work and doesn't promote fairness. The complexity gets everybody on board. Wondering what you think and how you could apply complexity rather than complication to the next sets of decisions that you need to make as cultural leaders in your school.